Welcome to Debt Dilemmas, where we're diving into the top 10 African nations facing the highest debt-to-GDP ratios in 2024. We're talking about countries from Sudan with its staggering 238.8% ratio, all the way down to Angola at a still hefty 77.1%. Now, you might be thinking, Trevor, numbers, graphs, economics, where's the comedy? Well, folks, the reality is there's nothing funny about the impact of these debts on people's lives. So buckle up as we unpack these complex issues with a healthy dose of seriousness, because this is about real people facing real challenges. First up, Sudan. This nation tops our list with a debt-to-GDP ratio that's, well, let's just say it's higher than a giraffe's kneecap at 238.8%. Years of conflict, economic mismanagement, the classics have brought Sudan to this point, and as if things weren't tough enough, plummeting global oil prices have dealt another blow to their economy. It's like trying to climb out of a hole while someone keeps shoveling dirt back in. Next, we set sail for Cabo Verde, an island nation known for its stunning beaches and vibrant tourism industry. But behind the postcard-perfect facade lies a hefty debt-to-GDP ratio of 109.7%. You see, COVID hit Cabo Verde's tourism sector harder than a rogue wave. And to stay afloat, the government had to borrow. Now they're stuck juggling economic recovery with managing a mountain of debt. It's like trying to build a sandcastle while the tide keeps coming in. Mozambique, coming in at number 3, boasts a debt-to-GDP ratio of 92.4%. You'd think a country with so many natural resources would be swimming in cash, right? Well, it turns out managing those resources is harder than it looks. It's like winning the lottery, but blowing it all on lottery tickets. Mozambique's reliance on volatile commodity prices has left them in a tough spot. At number 4, we have the Republic of Congo with a debt-to-GDP ratio of 91%. Now, you might be thinking, oil, that's liquid gold. And you'd be right, except when the price of gold plummets. The Republic of Congo's dependence on oil exports has left them vulnerable to the whims of the global market. Add in political instability and a lack of economic diversification, and you've got a recipe for debt disaster. Coming in at number 5 is Egypt with a debt-to-GDP ratio of 88.1%. The land of pharaohs, pyramids, and apparently a whole lot of debt. With a massive population and hefty subsidies on essential goods, Egypt's government is juggling a lot. It's like trying to balance a budget while feeding a small army. Finding a way to boost economic growth while shrinking those fiscal deficits is no easy feat. Ghana, the land of vibrant culture and delicious jollof rice, finds itself with a debt-to-GDP ratio of 81.5%. Now, you might be thinking 81.5% doesn't sound bad, but trust me, in the world of economics, that's like showing up to a party wearing Crocs with socks. It's not a good look. Ghana's been spending big on infrastructure and social programs, which is great, but it's led to some serious borrowing. They need to find a way to balance the books or risk ending up in a whole heap of trouble. Sierra Leone, a nation that's been through a lot, is facing a debt-to-GDP ratio of 82.6%. They've been working hard to rebuild after years of conflict, but that progress comes at a cost. Imagine trying to rebuild your house after a hurricane while also juggling a mountain of credit card debt. It's a tough situation, and Sierra Leone needs to find a way to keep growing its economy without drowning in debt. It's a delicate balancing act, but hey, if anyone can overcome a challenge, it's the resilient people of Sierra Leone. Mauritius, with its stunning beaches and luxury resorts, might seem like a paradise, but even paradise has its problems, and in this case, it's a debt-to-GDP ratio of 78.9%. You see, Mauritius relies heavily on tourism and financial services, which can be a bit like building your house on a foundation of sand. When the global economy catches a cold, Mauritius is likely to get pneumonia. They need to diversify their economy and find a way to pay down that debt, or those beautiful beaches might start looking a little less appealing. Coming in at number 9, we have Malawi, Now, Malawi is known as the warm heart of Africa, and they're really living up to that name by warming the hearts of their creditors with a debt-to-GDP ratio of 77.4%. They've made some real strides in economic development, but it's like trying to run a marathon with a mountain of debt on your back. They need to juggle smart money management with investing in key sectors. It's a tough balancing act, but hey, maybe they can ask the acrobats at the Lake Malawi Cultural Festival for some tips. And finally, at number 10, we have Angola, a country swimming in oil, but still drowning in debt. Their debt-to-GDP ratio is 77.1%, which proves that even when you're sitting on a lake of black gold, you can still get into deep financial trouble. I mean, relying on oil is like relying on your rich uncle to always bail you out. It might work for a while, but eventually he's going to cut you off. Angola needs to diversify its economy, like maybe start an Angolan rap scene. Trust me, those oil rappers would be loaded. So, as you can see from our trip around Africa, dealing with high national debt is complicated, like trying to explain the plot of Inception after a 3-day bender. Each country has its own unique cocktail of challenges, from bad money management to putting all their eggs in one basket, to political instability that makes things even more messy. Understanding these dynamics is key to figuring out their economic futures and figuring out who's going to foot the bill. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful videos on global economic issues.